Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome to Astrodle. I'm like 3 minutes in, but I figured this is a better place to start than the Infinite Void. It is an incremental, I'm gonna say kind of a shooter, game where you're effectively collecting various Zodiac-themed resources and using those to, well, upgrade your abilities to get more Zodiac-themed resources and rinse repeat. It's actually a lot of fun. I think it's probably one of the better incremental games I've played in a while. In a lot of cases, what was this? Oh, that's my own rate of fire. Yeah, that is actually quite good. Let's see, I think we also want to grab these. Oh, but we need Aquarius essences before I can get to that. So I might want to beeline for that a little bit. So I should mention, one, that this is available on Steam and it's been out for a couple of days now. And two, this is actually picking up where I left off from my last video. So I actually have a little bit of meta progression, and we're not going to have as many cutscenes yet. So if things feel a little unfamiliar, or if you want to see the whole experience, go check out my demo coverage as well. I will try and link that somewhere. Do we want to... I'll probably just have it linked in the description below. I just don't really like retreading old ground, especially when a game gives me the opportunity to kind of continue where I left off without it feeling like I'm just really picking up in the middle of something people have already seen. But as far as I know, our character is supposed to be like a starship captain that is somehow pursuing immortality with the help of the Zodiac entities? I've never been quite clear. I mean, I guess they are kind of beings in, I'd say, myth there. Unlocks the next resource for us. Buy an upgrade 3 seconds after you've unlocked it. Hey, wait, does that mean I have to go redo all the missions? Or no, we just have more. Well, that's nice. Yeah, so these are missions that scale up our blue generation, which is, let's see, actually kind of critical because it is one of the slowest resources to get my hands on. Slowly. Well, yeah, it's one of the slowest resources to farm, and so anything that helps that helps immensely. I think I might just save up blue and unlock the next resource type, though. Because it scales up fast enough, and the sooner we can get access to the later essences, the better. Let's see. What was I going to say? I don't know. I just woke up. I might as well mention that this is my own music. I turned off the in-game music because it's, as far as I can tell, just one song, and it was just a little too plotting for me, having heard it already. Okay, grab that. Grab that too. Grab a couple of these. There we go. Now we're starting to get in business. What is happening? A lot of these were just like disappearing automatically, and I'm not sure what that was about. Unless it was an upgrade? I do actually have a couple of meta progression upgrades that I can use here. Probably just get both of those. What else? Might as well keep grabbing that one. That one scales how many entities? How many of these like orb things can be just floating in space at once? And so the more of those I get, the better. Of course, we're kind of just zapping all of them before they can actually get anywhere close to cap. But once we get enough yellow essence, that's gonna change. But what are my meta progression? So I have unique blobs are no longer unique. There can be 2 in orbit. That's pretty good. And previously installed upgrades that cost less than 10% of your current cost are installed automatically at no cost. Every time you buy an upgrade, random blobs are destroyed. 1 for every 5 installed. That makes sense. Okay. So stellar bonus slots. I see. So once we get up to here, we get another slot for one of these upgrades. Then we're going to have to unlock a bunch of them. So I'll see if I can do that before we start over. Because I actually do like the bonus system. I think there's a lot of elements of this that are actually really cool. Just in terms of like how to handle incremental progression. Let's see. Do we want to save up that blue? Is that the only thing I can buy with blue? Because that's just how much essence I have. But yeah, it seems like the only thing I can upgrade right now is capacity with blue. I'll probably just upgrade my gain rates for at least a little while. Upgrading the drone counts. Okay, and we haven't unlocked any other ones. We haven't discovered these yet. Deploy the target and have it deploy the target and have it complete its first orbit without destroying any blobs. Deploy the target and have it destroy all blobs that are in orbit at that moment. Yeah, so whatever the target is something for later. Let's see. Yeah, those rate upgrades are kind of massive. We need to actually be able to capitalize on it, which we currently can't. Let's see, where's my head at? Man, I don't even know. Incremental games are kind of nice because it gives me a lot of time to talk about whatever I want, but also puts me in that position of like, if my head is empty, and I'm just kind of along for the ride. It's pleasant. I guess we might as well snag the chaser. I don't actually know if we have any upgrades for the chaser, though. At least not yet. Let's keep upgrading yellow. That's one of our main bottlenecks. So how much do I need? 1,400. Ooh. 1,400 yellow is going to be a little bit of work. Whereas I only need 240. I mean, it won't be that bad. Okay, now I'm more of an active participant. We're actually keeping most of the blobs low. Let's see. Yeah, the one thing I always feel kind of bad about, wasteful, is I have to make sure I'm not shooting the things that my drones are going for. I guess I don't feel strictly bad about that, per se. Oh, it does double. Ooh, that's good. Because, yeah, I'd like to get my little rotating drone to be extra strong. And I could increase my, like, gain rate. It wouldn't be a bad idea specifically for the rotating drone if we just had, like, an infinite amount of targets. But I think I'd still rather go for yellow gain first. Because currently it's at 5. I think that would put it at a 10, maybe? But yeah, kill stealing my own drones is funny, but not great. Where are we at? What have I been up to lately? We might as well just kind of vlog this or something. Big headache of the week was somebody hit our car a couple days ago. It was like a light nudge. It wasn't anything like too terrible, but it was enough that it like left a pretty nasty dent on a fender. And so we've been trying to figure out, like, yeah, is that worth fixing? Is it going to be a problem? How much does it cost to fix? You know, is the repair shop over quoting? They wanted to do like all sorts of stuff with Bondo and whatnot for a dent, and it was just like, not sure about that. The problem is I don't know much about cars. I'm not a car guy. And so it's one of those where... Oh no, it only boosted up to 7. Okay. It would boost up the next 2. Earn 3 more per blob. I'll have to see how that works later, but either way, I think going for the yellow rate upgrades first made sense. 520. I don't know. I think we'll go for rate gain, though, next. But yeah, so we were driving around for, like, dealerships and whatnot, and that was... it's just a pain. Because, of course, the person that hit our car did so while we were in a store, so, like, we didn't even catch it at first, because it was kind of not that noticeable. It was on my side of the car, and I'm always distractible. You know, not paying enough attention, so we didn't actually catch it until, you know, potentially an hour later. I think it was about an hour later. And then it's like, okay, does the store have security camera footage? Can we even get that security camera footage? and all of that stuff, and that's just been kind of like a weird headache for me. On the plus side, it does mean it's a good excuse for me to go to the board game store. My board game collection at this point is pretty large. I should do a video at some point, like just talking about what my collection looks like. Let's snag those. Ooh, it practically doubles the fire rate on this sucker. I'll just give it a chill for a moment, maybe. Yeah, what do we need? 23,000. Oh boy. Some of these rates are getting a little silly. It's fine though. I think by leveling these up, yes. So if you level these up, it actually increases, the amount you earn at the next star. And it does not go back down, which is very appreciated. But it's going to take me a while to get there. But I'd like to double the amount of Leo essences I'm gaining. I'd like to double like all of these, but it is going to take a little bit of time to get up there. But it seems like that's probably the call before I start over. So we might be in this for a little bit longer. I say we save up the yellow required to get to the next. No, we probably go for an essence increase. Then we switch over to this. Because yeah, I'd like to pick up the next upgrade because it scales somewhat infinitely. And gets quite powerful, but it is expensive. And there's the question of like how to get more. But yeah, so my board game collection is massive, but I keep going into the local used game store where like we live near one of the largest in the country, so it's kind of like you walk in there and there's always like some cool new game that you're like, oh yeah, I'd love to pick that up. I'd love to get, oh, what was the one yesterday? Well, it also has a fairly substantial like used game section, so we walked in and had like Seventh Continent. I'm like, well, I'm curious about that one, but I also just kickstarted the sequel, so I probably don't need to pick it up. But it was tempting. It was like less than half off, and it's like, yeah, that'd be worth it. But these are also like very long games. Yeah, do we actually... No, let's go for the yellow rate, even though that's my current bottleneck. So what's the next rate for yellow? Earn twice as much, so it actually does go up exponentially. It just takes a while to get there. Neat, though. Sure, I'll keep grabbing that. So what is this? Number of Aquariuses in stock. This increases the extraction rate. This increases the generation rate proportional to its power level. So eventually that becomes ridiculous. We just have to complete all of these different missions to actually scale up how much it goes up by. Okay, let me see. So that next one's 23,000. This one's 5,000, and actually will be very much worth it. Okay, I think we're in a fine spot. The problem with me in board games is that my work is fairly all-consuming. It doesn't have to be, but it's one of those where it's just, okay. So I'm probably going to record for the next, like, 6 hours today. Maybe a little bit more. That puts me stopping somewhere around, like, you know, 6 o'clock. That's not a bad stopping point, especially because I wake up late. And then after that, it's like, yeah, it's getting kind of late in the day, but I'd like to get out and go on a walk. And so by the time we're back from that walk, it's like 8:30, then we eat dinner. By the time we're done with that, it's like 10 o'clock, and it's like, okay, maybe no board games. I think tonight we'll, like, poke at Lorcana cards or something. Card games are maybe a little bit easier to manage. Somewhat. I feel like card games end up with people's feelings getting hurt, which is kind of the one beef I have with most competitive card games. I want to play, like, more... Okay. I'm tangent to a tangent. I love point engine games. I like point engine games where you're competing for score with people. You know, where you're trying to just get the highest score possible. I used to play Race for the Galaxy in college, and that was, like, my favorite board game. And it still remains one of my favorites. I think it's actually a really solid board game across the board. Horror. And, like, obviously I'd have to go back and put some time into it to see if it still stacks up. I tried playing Roll for the Galaxy, and I did not like it. And like, who knows? Maybe it is actually better than I think it is, and I just need to give it a fair shake. But that game was fun because you were competing against other people. You're interacting with them sometimes, mostly based on like what actions they choose to do. And so if you can set up like a really solid setup, you can potentially just kind of chill and just let resources flow in if you're lucky. There it is. Okay, so now we've got Gemini blobs. So we want to kill these as fast as possible because every time we break them, they increase in value by, is it just 2? But then also if we increase the rate, I think it increases the rate at which it gains value. Yeah, so now it's going up by 4 instead, which gets very silly. I could snag that, but I think I'm just going to keep working on rate gains for this. We don't really need that much for blue. Oh, right, and that lets me bank shots. It's expensive, though. I'll leave it for a bit. We might want to work on spawn rates for yellow. Let's go for this, go for this. Now, there's other things I'd like to grab within this. But I'm just trying to get that gain way up. Okay, there. And whenever I buy upgrades, it just automatically shoots a bunch of times. Alright, that's the detonator. So that's still not the target. That's a different duder. Yeah, at this point, these are scaling fairly absurdly, which is nice. It's still going to take forever for it to actually get, like, all of the upgrades that I want. But it's the first point when this game gets, like, truly exponential. But what I was going to say is, I want to play more trading card games where it has all the essence of like a engine builder board game without the like direct screwing other players over most of the time. The closest I think I've come was I've come to this like setup was a board game called Oceans, where you are building like ecosystems and whatnot. And you absolutely can like prey on other players and like attack their fish to take food off of them. But for the most part, you're still kind of isolated from other players, and you can very much like ward them off in different ways. But it's more about like who can get the most amount of points over the course of a game rather than like who can kill the other faster. And so like I got into like Disney Lorcana somewhat recently, mainly because one of our like close friends in the area is very big on Disney. We're up to Taurus blobs. Yield corresponding essence when destroyed. Oh, guess it doesn't really say what else we get. What is that? Double shots. Sure, I'll increase my fire rate. That should also increase my charge rate too. Let's see. Where's Brain at? This is actually starting to scale up. It was getting a little basic earlier, but now we are just rolling in resources. But Lorcana's kind of a neat card game because the goal is not to knock somebody out of competition. It is to generate 20 points, and first person to 20 points wins. It's a neat system. I think it does have its issues, but it's much less immediately like mean to the other players, and you absolutely can play it in a mean fashion, you know, wiping out all of their units, but that doesn't help you. It's almost kind of secondary, which is kind of neat. It means that going aggro is not the only build. Whereas like Magic the Gathering, I mean, yeah, there's a lot more nuance to it, but every build has to be aggressive because that's how you win. most of the time. I guess I was looking at a, oh, who's the dragon? I forget his name, whatever the skinny neck dragon planeswalker is. It shows I'm not much of a Magic the Gathering guy. Do we want to just grab a bunch of these upgrades? Sure. We might as well snag them whenever we get the chance. My friends were literally just talking about this guy. Oh, Nicol Bolas, there we go. Where it's just like, if he just has 8 tokens on him, you just win. And it's like, oh, that actually is kind of neat. Let's just keep going for those bank shots. It looks like I get to bank a whole heck of a lot of them here. Actually kind of cool. Oh, and it's going up somewhat exponentially too. It's not just going up by 1 anymore. It's getting me extra slots. So eventually I'm going to be able to machine gun. Though we're somewhat reliant on the rate of fire increases for the rest of that. Let's see. I'm not sure if putting points into that is worth it. I think I'd rather save up for something else. There we go. But yeah, so I liked the idea of Lorcana, but it still does come kind of down to being aggressive against another player. Most of the time. It depends on what builds you're fielding. I've got a couple that are untouchable, and it's very fun to just play it as a point engine game. But I would unironically love to play a TCG that is just like, hey, yeah, this is a point engine game. You barely touch the other players. It's mostly just like, who can point engine faster? I could see that very much being a bad game, though, because like, card games are already pay to win. But that would make it maybe worse? I don't know. It's hard to tell on that one. It was in college. I didn't really play a whole lot of Magic the Gathering because I already knew it could be bad. But one of Shell's stories about like her experiences with Magic the Gathering was somebody specifically, like actually it was, I think, a guy in my frat, oddly enough, lived on her dorm floor originally. And she was like, yeah, you know, I'll play Magic with you. And he pulls out his like $3,000 Magic the Gathering deck that like could take multiple turns in sequence. And he just completely whomped her with her, you know, out of the box pre-made deck. And it's just like, what was the point of that? Why did you even want to play Magic the Gathering with me if that's the cards you were rolling with? He was just that kind of asshole though, but it's why I don't like playing the like directly competitive. That's why I don't like playing the directly competitive TCGs where you're like actively knocking each other out of play. But going point engine is kind of fun because, well, I don't know. Is it kind of fun? It's fun from the perspective of like, even if you lose, you're bettering yourself every single time. Whereas Magic the Gathering, you often lose just because the other person paid more money into it. At least at a certain level. I think once you hit the like highest tier, that no longer matters and it becomes proper deck building again. I think that's why I usually just play board games instead. I just want more cards and more options somehow. Hey, we can increase our yellow game. Let's go for that, because that's going to increase our blue a bunch. If only we actually had like a meaningful use for blue. We currently don't. Ooh, 160. Oh, that's a lot of red. Let's see. Fine. I think what I'm going to need is rate upgrades more than anything else. Or some of these. Because what are we up to? So we got this up to ×2, which is actually great. We might even get it up to ×3 considering how much it's scaling up. I'd like to get Leo, and I think we did get Aquarius up to ×2 here. Let's see. Aries is a little bit far out. Capricorn is a little far out. We might still want to do it. Stick around. At least to get this up to 6. What do I need for the next one? It's not telling me, actually. I can check my messages. Well, I don't think this is the demo anymore. Yeah, okay, we've definitely gotten past the demo. It's funny that it's still there as an option. But yeah, big question is, what do I do next? I mean, we probably just loop a couple of times until we get whatever the next resource is. I just have no idea how to get there. Unless my save file is broken, which, like, it very much could be. Or, this isn't in early access, is it? It could be. No, it looks to be about the same. Yeah, because this is about where I was at progression-wise the last time I played. We just have so many more resources to work with. I mean, who knows, maybe it'll show up. It would just be kind of sad if my decision to continue where I had left off has actually broken my save file, and I have no way of knowing until later. Like, it's not that bad. It's still kind of a chill time to just sit around shooting resources. I'll just have to verify before I sit down and play another. At least the limits are gone. If we were at a 9,999 limit, then that would change some things. Okay, so I could increase my own fire rate, but I think we want to double the blue gain. Because that requires 30,000, this requires 35,000, yeah. I think we go for the rate increase and then go for some other stuff. Namely, I don't need the fire rate increase because I'm just shooting pretty quickly to begin with. Let's see. I guess I might as well keep buying the capacity upgrades, considering I can't use blue for anything. We have yet to figure out how to get Scorpio essences. Oh, it is legitimately kind of difficult to get up to that 35,000 mark. That's fine. I think Synthwave was the correct decision to accompany this. There are very few games I find that are not enhanced with the addition of Synthwave in the background. I'm sure there are plenty, but like, I don't know, you want good background music, you just turn on some Synthwave. Oh, is that just how much ammo I have? The asteroid mining lasers were merely one divine hack away from being fun. Funny. I'm like, we've got to be getting real close to getting our Gemini essence up to like a ×3 multiplier. Oh, no, it's already up to a ×4. The next level might be too much, though. I think we do want to stick it out and see if I can get the Aries and the Capricorn up. Okay. Even if those are going to be a little time consuming. Because currently we haven't been able to increase their rate gain at all. But if we can get their rate gain up to a solid ×2, then we'll at least be in a very good position for the next round. It just might mean actually leaving the game on auto after a certain point and just saying like, my drones will handle it. Play another game, come back, and actually have resources to spend on things. Maybe. It's 160,000, that needs 100,000. Yeah, because I don't think we've unlocked any more challenges either. We've found some randomly. But yeah, we haven't found the target yet, so I can't do anything with that. Oh. We to answer my own question, I stopped for a moment just to chill and maybe look some things up, and we got a new voicemail, so that means we're still progressing. Another message of mine to talk about the next step, Cancer Essences. Cancer wants me to upgrade the Chaser with a multi-blade companion drone. It isn't the most efficient way if you ask me, but he was quite specific. Just remember that the Chaser can be moved around with a cursor and should be okay. I must say, your progress is quite impressive, and I hate you so much for making me feel the tiniest bit of hope. Alright, so that is unlocked a little bit. Let's go for a rate gain. Let's see, do we want to snag this while we're here? It's cheap enough. Oh, this is maxed out, actually. 25 revolutions per minute. It is a zippy sucker. Now we need to do is save the 140,000 to get the next thing. What about this? 10,000 for Chaser Blade. And turns blobs in its path into Cancer Essences. Good. Yeah, so my decision to stick it out was the correct one. We're still a little bit rate limited here, but it's not that bad. There we go. What else were we... I don't know. Still kind of on the topic of board games. Not that there's really too much to, like, really get deep into them. I don't know. It was kind of fun. I didn't play much board games. I played a lot of board games growing up, but, like, kind of post-college, let's see. Post-college, playing Race for the Galaxy. I never got into other ones. I think I just didn't really step foot into a whole lot of board game stores. We had like a decent amount of them when I was in California, but living in Massachusetts, like oddly enough, there are almost no good board game stores, which is wild to me. Like there's a couple in the heart of Boston, but they're small and mostly, I don't know. I want to say like they mostly benefit wargaming, and like tabletop or not, well, wargaming, tabletop RPG, and like almost kind of more of a community space. It's rare to like walk into one of these stores and have just like rows and rows of cool board games that are worth checking out. Let's see. And like it varies a little bit. I'm sure. Well, actually nowadays, if I walked into a Barnes and Noble, there'd be like a bunch of really good board games. And that's actually what kicked this off, oddly enough. Like, we collected a couple when we were out in Oregon. There was a board game store that we'd frequent kind of near our house. And so that was a pleasant little place to, like, go and check out. And we picked up, like, Olive Root and Wings... Well, no, we got Wingspan from the Audubon Society, which is also part of what kicked all of this off. Because I think I'd maybe played the digital version of Root, and I was like, yeah, that's good. And then we wanted to buy some binoculars because we wanted to get into birding, but we bought binoculars from like a place that specifically, or like well, yeah, we bought it from the Audubon Society, but we bought binoculars that specifically were from like a manufacturer that does like a lot of gun scopes. And so we just randomly peeked at their social media, and it was just like all about killing birds, and we're just like, you know what? This just feels weird and wrong. And let's see, do we... Oh yeah, we're halfway. Let's boost this up so we're at a rate of 20 here. But yeah, it just felt weird and wrong to have this this binocular brand to just go and look at and appreciate birds, and the company itself is just like, you know, use these to find birds to kill them, and we're just like, I don't know, just the vibes are off. And they weren't like that good. But, well, the quality of the binoculars weren't like that amazing that we couldn't like switch for a different brand. So we brought it back to the Audubon Society, and we're like, you guys might want to check their social media site, because this is like very much anti-Audubon Society in our opinion. Yeah, and they had like it was like Valentine's Day had just gone by, and they had like a deer heart in a box, and it was still bloody, and I think it was like filled with ammo too, and it was just like, you know, that's just not the vibe we want. I don't know if that's the vibe the Audubon Society really wants here, but they probably didn't care that much. But so we brought it back, and pretty much for the same price we bought all of Wingspan at the time. I think this is before the Asian expansion had come out, but, you know, it was still a major upgrade in my opinion. Okay, we are halfway there. No, we're less than halfway there on the purple. This is a bit of a climb, but it's fine. But what was the other one? Oh, right. As far as our board game collection start, kind of around here, and we needed that upgrade. Means that this is probably pretty close behind, and so is this actually. Doubling our Taurus would be nice. We might even get the what, times 8? Is it times 8 or is it a times? Yeah, it is a times 8. Oh boy. Our next loop is going to be silly. So what is that? 5,000. Nah, I think I'll save up. 17,000, or sorry, 5 million, not 5,000. Brain. But so we moved here, I guess a year and a half ago, and it was like just after Christmas, kind of like a long Boxing Day. We walked into the local Barnes & Noble, because either I think we just wanted to check it out, or we knew there was a sale going on, or maybe we'd walked by it. No, I don't entirely know like how we spotted it, but we knew that there was a sale going on. What was that, Shell? Oh, we got a gift card. That's what it was. Okay. But yeah, we walked into Barnes & Noble and they were doing like a buy one... Or no, it wasn't even a buy one, get one. It was just like a half off all board games or something like that. Oh, it was buy one, get one. Whatever it was effectively half off all board games and hardcovers. And so we just walked in and bought like... I mean, admittedly, like Battle Angel, Alita, and a couple other hardcovers, I think. But the board game section in Barnes & Noble is actually like really good nowadays. Like has some of the better board games out there. And so we're just like, sure, we're just going to buy any one of these that seems even remotely close to interesting. I think a bunch of them were kind of like, actually not that good. I think if they do this deal again, they have even better board games now. But at the time it was just like, yeah, this is a bunch of like cool board games that we want to check out. And then the local board game store around here moved to like a car dealership had shut down, and so they took over the location, and now it's this like huge space. I might actually be outing this. Some people might know this store, but it's fine. But it's this like huge space with a bunch of used games. We just walk in periodically, like once per week, usually around like Saturday, Sunday, because that tends to be when all the used games show up. And they'll just have like oodles of games we've never even seen or heard of before. And like these are solid like 8 out of 10 games. Yeah, there's no such thing as a 10 out of 10 board game as far as like common consensus goes. There's a couple of games that are getting up into the like 9s, but they're very rare. But so we'll just like walk right in, and they'll just have, you know, quote unquote, some of the best board games ever made. And we're just like, absolutely, we'll pick that up. Why not? It's gotten a bit dire, though. We don't actually have enough shelf space for them anymore. So they're just lying behind me. In just kind of tidy little stacks. It's not that big of a deal. But we don't live in that big of an apartment. And so there's kind of that consideration of like, we probably need to stop. But it's really hard to say no to like cool looking board games that just pop up. Yeah, I also really, really like Arkham Horror, so I've just been acquiring Arkham Horror. Oh, we might as well buy that. Now that our rate, we are getting nearly 200,000 per shot here. That's silly. I think part of this is also kind of, well, I mean, one, board games are something you inherently, not always, but you generally play with somebody else. And so board games are kind of an easy thing for my wife and I to play together. As opposed to, like, most video games tend to be fairly solitary affairs. Board games also have, I'm not going to say minimal grind, because some do. You know, I brought up Seventh Continent earlier, and that is definitely a game with some level of, maybe not grind, but you spend a lot of time exploring and traveling and whatnot. And that can get a bit chore-ish. Okay, almost have the purple. that we need. I think I need 10,000. But we might as well unlock the next resource type if we can. But the other thing is, like, from my perspective, yeah, there are new board games coming out every day, but it's at least something you can kind of keep on top of. I love video games. I love playing them. I love the sheer variety being presented. There is some level of, like, I don't want to say, like, latent mental illness that I develop around the quantity of board games that are coming out. How can I trigger this sucker? Okay, there. We've got some cancer essence. I think I just need to loop this thing places. What causes it to... Oh, it doesn't go until it's charged all of those. Okay. Replacing the cursor as the aiming position for the lasers. Huh. Missions involving lasers cannot be completed using this drone. Oh, so it automatically... Okay, so we do have to play kind of an active role in moving this thing around, though. Problem is, I need more things. Getting these cancer essences is actually hard. I kind of appreciate that, though. There we go. Yeah, because I was originally kind of hoping I could just leave it automatic. But I can't do that. So that just decreases charge duration. Max that out. Do we want to get this finally? No. There's other things I could save up for, including the next rate increase. Yeah, the problem is I can get it to the opposite side of the map. But I'm gonna shoot a couple of these. Keep pushing the chaser during an entire blade cycle. Oh, I mean, that's good. Let's grab the next one. What do we need? 2,000. Okay. How much do I need? 10,000 for that one. That's probably not happening. This might be an opportunity for me to reset. What else do we got? I have not discovered these missions yet, so that's not helpful. The only immediate problem is... I just... Yeah, it's almost impossible for me to get this up. Is there a way I can hold my fire? And the other one I could do is increase blob spawn rate to the point where inherently, yeah, it really likes to slingshot at the worst possible time. And I mean, we are getting it. It's not that bad. And it seems really cheap to upgrade, which is the plus. Okay, let's increase its movement speed. There we go. Almost up to that. I'm going to just stop paying attention to it for a second. It might actually be just as practical for me to just let it go automatically. It seems to hit better, because I'm almost interfering with my own fire. Okay, snag that one. So now we're up to... yeah, 320 per shot on those. $45.90. No. I don't know how to get the cancer to be better than it is. Let me take a look. Because, yeah, we're at 270. I mean, this might be exactly that circumstance I was talking about where we let it go passively. Yeah, because what does that need? 27,000 purple. Some of these we're just going to be a little hard locked on, mostly due to lack of availability. What is this? Oh, that's kind of fun. Turn off the graphics so the game really can just run in the background. Yeah, I think the issue is we just need more blobs. Because I can take a somewhat active path here. But the dang drone will just eat things itself. Okay. Yeah, I'll pick that up. It's cheap enough. Because, yeah, there's the target, but the target's going to be a bit of a doozy. There's this, which, I mean, is doable. Like, yeah, I can direct it. Just not clear how practical it is. Let's get one more rate increase. Come on, come on. There we go. I mean, we can get a bunch, but yeah, if we can get this up to 34,000. Okay, so in that case, rather than trying to yank the drone around, let's do this. I can, like, turn... oh, I can turn these off. Oh, that's even better. There we go. I was wondering how to solve this issue. But that's the way to do it. Problem is, driving this thing is a small nightmare. Wait, oh. Oh, I turned it off entirely. I can't do that. I was hoping I'd just turn off its ability to, like, move. There we go. Okay, next one. We're up to 20. Yeah, what do we even want to do next? Because, yeah, we've got the cancer essences, which is useful. And, like, one really silly thing I could try and do is build, like, a super cluster for it to hit. Which is an option. I need 1,400. Ideally, I'd like to double it. We could just say no. I might want to just turn everything else back on and just leave it active. I think that's what I will do. Also, the extra rate should help. Wow, that extra rate should help. I mean, otherwise we could actually just leave it here. I really enjoy playing this game, but it is one of those that... I think a lot of incremental games suffer this a little bit. The idea of, like, the doldrums after a certain point. Let's see. Because, yeah, I need 62,000 for that. Do we increase the extraction rate? What do we invest into at this point? I'll get the power generation just because. And we need Scorpio essences for anything else. Oh, we have a new voicemail. We've received 25% power. That's amazing. You're awesome. Thanks so much for being such a good sport. Seeing you there, collecting essences like a champ, makes a divine person feel things, you know? Makes me wonder, what if we hadn't left Earth? Would we have succeeded by now? Did our exile make us better somehow? Failed to see how that would happen. Maybe it's all you. We're still bad at this, and you're that easy to work with. Sorry, got a little negative when I should be cheering you up. Added more missions to the list. Check him out. I'll just snag that. Okay, so now we know what these. Detonate the detonator and destroy 25 blobs or more at once. Oh, wait, hold up. Can I turn my gun off? I think it's the only thing I can't. Oh. That's interesting. You can actually... I like the fact that it's got pronouns in there. It doesn't look like we've got anything else, though. So let's take a look at some of these, because some of these I can just do automatically. Withdraw the gunner just when the last bullet is fired is critical. I don't think we can do that yet. Withdraw 5 drones and deploy them in reverse order, but we don't have all the drones yet. Dribble the ball. Well, we don't have a ball. And then that's target. We can't do either of those. And we're gonna need a lot if I want to get the target. Yeah, I'm interested in potentially trying to get the detonator one, but I think the best thing I could do for that is just keep playing the game. Because to some degree, I can just pick up a lot of these automatically, just by increasing the amount of essences we have on the field at once. The other issue mostly is going to be we're hard locked on resources. We might get enough from the Scorpio. Or from the Blade drone here. It's just got one of the lowest gains at the moment. Let's see. The other thing, I guess we could increase the capacity. Oh, but it only boosts it by 10. What are we up to? Oh, we actually can get 2 whole things if we want to. Wait. Okay. Haste bonus. Blobs respawn twice as fast, and the blob count is below half capacity, so that's pretty good. Distance. I think we're going to need that. Add or remove the stellar bonus. When you're on your last instant shot, destroys a blob for each. No. I think we want haste. So we could start over at this point. Cancer's going to take a little bit of time, but if I wait, we can get Leo ×2, Aquarius ×2, maybe Taurus ×2, or boost it further. I mean, that's going to make Taurus a little bit better. What was that? Oh, Aries. It wasn't Taurus in the very beginning. Oops. Sorry, they both kind of have a horn thing going on. Because I'd like those bonuses, but I'd like the ×2 multiplier. Having it so that the blade slowly moves away would actually be nice. And it does beg the question a little bit. Yeah, what is my ideal path and plan here? It looks like this is capped out. It's interesting that we're actually having a number of these cap out proper at this point. Sure. I think we can hold off. It's going to be a little slow. And also, we're more or less at a good stopping point here. There's obviously so much more that I could do with this game, but it is one of those where, like, sometimes leaving an incremental game idle for a bit, just to slowly collect some resources, is not that untoward. Even if it's maybe not quite as if... I don't actually know if it'd be more or less efficient. I think it'd be more efficient to leave it idle for a bit, get these ×2 multipliers, even if it's a bit of a struggle to get up there. Let's see. Because, yeah, if I can get it up there... I mean, heck, this might even get up to the 180 million, which would be, goofy. I don't know if this will get to the 2 million. Like, some of these are kind of far away. This is 20% of the way up to that ×2 mark. So, like, yeah, some of these might actually be doable. I just want to get the one capacity upgrade, even if we're not using it at the moment. And then I think we'll leave it here. So I might as well mention that Astrodle is available now on Steam, and as far as I can tell, it's a complete product. I don't know if there's any further updates planned. There might be some levels of it. But I have to say, like, it's currently one of my favorite incremental games I've played in a while. There's been a bunch of them, really ever since To The Core and Norp Apolog, especially. Like, those two were major highlights of the genre so far, and it has felt like the genre has improved at least a little bit since. It just feels like there's more inventiveness, and I'm still gonna say I wish incremental games learned from roguelikes. How cool would it be if you had, like, mid-run upgrades that would show up, beyond just these like incremental ones, but like just periodically for hitting certain milestones, you get a small random upgrade that only persists for the run that you're currently on. I guess that could get kind of busted and hard to balance, but man, incremental games with roguelike mechanics, I want to see it happen. I don't know when it's going to happen, if it will happen, but I could see it being a lot of fun. Maybe at some point I'll go through the pain and effort of trying to design like a text-based one that does that. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, with all of that said, yeah, Astrodle's available now on Steam. It's $6, which is more than a fair price for what you're going to get out of this. I don't think it's going to be like dozens and dozens of hours to reach the end, but it does feel like it's got some pretty high upper limits, and also it makes up for a lot with production value. This is one of the nicer looking incremental games I've played in a while, and the active mode is actually fairly compelling just from the perspective of like, it's just kind of fun to just mouse over things and go pew pew a bunch. But with all of that said, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new games every single day, then hit subscribe because I got tons to check out and show off. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.